Hey, in this video, you're going to find out what UX design actually is. We're going to share some practical examples of good UX design and bad UX design, define what it really is, and what it looks like in the real world. My name is Dee, and I've worked as a UX designer for over 12 years. I'm going to share some personal insights and stories and real examples of good and bad UX design from my experience in the industry. Before we get started, while you're watching this video, if you have any questions about the terms or examples I use, please put them in the comments below and we'll answer them as soon as possible. Let's start with talking about what UX design actually is. UX stands for user experience, and the Wikipedia definition of design is to plan the construction of an object, activity, or process. Basically, how something looks and works. So UX design, or user experience design, is to plan how something looks and works to make the activity of using it easy and enjoyable. There are three main factors in UX design. First, it must meet the user's needs. It must also be easy to use and easy to learn, and it must give the user control and freedom. And as an added bonus, it should also surprise and delight. Wow! Let's look at these in a bit more detail. The first factor is meeting the user's needs. This means that whatever the user came to do using your product or service, you must make sure that they're able to achieve that outcome. As an example, in an online food delivery service, the user has come to get food delivered within a certain time. So simply put, this first factor means that you deliver on those needs and the person gets the food on time to their house. The second factor is that your product or service is easy to use and easy to learn. Going back to the food delivery example, this means that you would find it easy to browse and find the food you want, put in your address, specify the time, and complete the order. And the easy to learn part means that even if you've never used this service before, you know exactly what to do and it's just as easy as though you've done it 100 times. The third factor is that the user should always have control and freedom in the process. In the food delivery example again, this means that they could change their mind about the food or even cancel or reschedule during the process. And the added bonus, factor number 4, surprise and delight. In the food delivery example, this might mean getting a free voucher for your next order, or that the delivery person greets you with a warm smile and a thank you for using their service. Something that really makes you feel special and want to use that product again. The core of UX design is that it's all about the user. Products that don't have good UX design aren't taking the user's needs into consideration. Taking into account the user's needs and motivation and giving them a great user experience leads to more exciting and valuable products and services. The reason why businesses all over the world are starting to realize the value of UX design is because when you give users a good experience, they're more likely to share and come back and use your service again and again. We've been talking about good UX design and bad UX design, but what does that really look like in the real world? To put this in a context we're all familiar with, think about microwaves. When was the last time you were at someone else's house and tried to use their microwave and couldn't quite figure out exactly what you needed to do? Think about all the different ways you can interact with microwaves. There are buttons and dials and knobs and digital screens, and it can be hard to figure out how to achieve the simple task of heating food when you don't know exactly how to use the device that's in front of you. This is what we're talking about when we say bad UX design. Conversely, let's look at an example of good UX design. Take the humble toaster. Its simple function is to heat bread into toast just the way you like it. Making toast is a really simple activity, but it can be an imperfect art. When the bread isn't toasted quite enough, you usually need to guess how long to put it back in for. This is where great UX design comes in, where the UX designer has understood the frustrations and needs of the user and invented a button called Just a Bit More. This removes the element of guesswork for the user and creates a delightfully successful experience. Don Norman is one of the founding figures of UX design, and he also shares a great example of good versus bad UX design in doors. Think of how many times you've tried to open a door only to realize you were pushing or pulling in the wrong direction. Most people blame themselves when this happens, thinking that they should have known which way to push or pull the door. But UX design tells us that this isn't the user's fault. It's the fault of the person who designed the door. If a door has a handle that you can grab, It's telling the user that it's meant to be pulled. But what we find is that some doors have a handle even when they're supposed to be pushed. These doors are called Norman doors because Don Norman first coined the term when using these doors as an example of bad UX design. If we were to apply good UX design to a door, we would first assess whether the door was supposed to open inwards or outwards, and then give the user the correct mechanism to perform the right action. It's frustrating for people when we try and open a door only to realize that we're doing it the wrong way. But when businesses have websites and digital products and their users don't know what to do or how to achieve their goals, it can have a huge negative business impact. That's why UX design is such a lucrative and in-demand career path at the moment. Now you've heard some examples from me, I'd love to hear in the comments what experiences of bad UX design you've had in the real world. Let's look at some of the steps that are involved in UX design. Typically, there are 5 fundamental steps, which are understand, analyze, ideate, validate, and iterate. We'll cover these steps in more detail in future videos, but to go through them quickly, understand is about understanding the user's needs, motivations, and goals. Analyze is about interpreting data and research into a clear direction. Ideate involves generating ideas and finding ways to solve users' problems. Validate is the step where UX designers test their new ideas with real people. And iterate is where the UX designer goes back through these stages and continuously improves and develops a product or service over time. So let's look at some of the things a UX designer does day to day. To tie it back to the 5 steps I just mentioned, in the understand stage, a UX designer will conduct research and interviews to really dig in and understand the frustrations and motivations in a user's behavior. In the analyze stage, they formulate data, derive insights, and assess patterns and trends. In the ideate stage, they'll start turning those insights into concepts and often bring other people in to work with them to generate ideas. In the validate stage, they'll create prototypes to quickly test their ideas and run experiments with real users and customers. The iterate stage is more of a mindset, where they'll go back and repeat these stages in a cycle in order to have continuous improvement. So hopefully I've given you a better understanding of what UX design actually is. It's an incredibly creative and rewarding profession that allows you to improve the lives and experience of real people. If you have any questions about the terms, definitions, or stories I've shared, please ask a question in the comments below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a like and subscribe to this channel, and don't forget the bell to see more videos like this every week. If you want to get into UX design, you can sign up for Career Foundry's free short course. You'll receive 6 daily lessons that take around 15 minutes to complete, and you'll have a better understanding if UX is the right choice for you. You can sign up for free, the link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon. I feel like a newscaster right now. Let's take a look behind the scenes. Over to you, Bob. Thanks, Bob. Now we're back. Don Norman. Don Norman. Norman.